Beneath the veneer of skepticism, reality bears witness to chilling truths. In the haunting corridors of history, where shadows dance with undeniable evidence, remember this, the stories are true. Prepare for a revelation. Where the supernatural is stripped of fiction, and the unknown is laid bare, are you ready to confront the undeniable? The stories are true, and the echoes of reality await.
Alright, picture this. Kip, our brave soul from the wilds of New York, decides to buy an ancient house with his wife. They're practically time travelers moving into this relic. Now, the story takes a hilarious turn when his wife, with the hospitality of a saint, invites her sis and a baby over for a visit. So, there they are, cozy in their new place. Kip's wife, being the responsible homeowner, takes the upstairs bedroom, while her sis and the baby camp out downstairs. Classic setup, right? But hold on, the comedy kicks in when Kip spills the supernatural beans on a podcast called Monsters Among Us. Apparently, the first night they had guests, the sister gets into a late night chat with an invisible friend. Imagine that. The sister wakes up, sees an old lady creeping over the baby, and asks to play Ghostbuster, shouting, "Hey, nincompoop, get away from the crib." Now, the hilarity doesn't end there. They've got lamps playing musical chairs, and the showstopper, a smoke alarm going bonkers while Kip's wife is out gardening. She dashes in, Sherlock Holmes style, only to find a room filled with white fog. Really? Ghosts? Couldn't you choose a less stereotypical presentation? Then, in a magical blink, the fog vanishes, and the alarm's like, just kidding, folks. Here comes the plot twist. They decide to be good citizens and investigate the history of their haunted haven. Lo and behold, turns out the previous owner was a 90-year-old lady who met a fiery end in the house. Cue the spooky background music. Needless to say, Kip and wifey aren't sticking around for ghost tea parties. They fix up the place faster than you can say boo, and haul out of there faster than a cat seeing a cucumber. And that, my friend, is how Kip and his wife became accidental Ghostbusters and gave a haunted house a makeover. Who are you gonna call? Definitely not Kip.
Hold tight for the next one.
Oh, buckle up for this wild tale from the Ohio State Reformatory. You know, the joint where they filmed The Shawshank Redemption. So it's not just famous for movie magic, it's got a whole claptrap of ghost stories going on. Now picture this old penitentiary shut down in 1990 just chilling in Mansfield, Ohio. Apparently it's not just rust and memories haunting the place, but full-on ghosts and spirits. Teresa Argy, aka the Haunted Housewife, spills the beans on this spooky situation. According to Teresa, the reformatory had this crazy vein of violence running through it from the get-go. No surprise, right? I mean, you can't host the bad boys of crime without stirring up some paranormal potpourri. Teresa says you can practically feel the negativity in your bones, and I'm thinking, well, that's not your typical real estate charm. Now, the ghost gossip, there's a female spirit who's like the former warden's wife. Poor lady got accidentally shot while reaching for a box in a closet. Ghostly stuff, right? Teresa says they've got recordings of her crying and even caught a whiff of rose perfume in the mix. Real classy haunting, I must say. Then there's this weeping woman in the prison chapel, just shedding ghostly tears. Teresa tried to approach her, but poof, she pulls a Houdini. Others claim to see her strolling around, keeping it ghost chic. Now enter the not-so-friendly ghost. Teresa claims to have a full-on chat with this malevolent presence. She says he was cussing at her like a ghostly sailor. Spooky, but nothing compared to the drama that unfolded when he decided to play hide and scare by following Teresa's partner home. Through a window reflection, she spots this shadowy figure, and it's the angry ghost on a stroll. Cue the paranormal expert for backup, and according to Teresa, after that, Mr. Angry Ghost went MIA. Phew, Ghostbusters got nothing on this ghost whisperer action. So next time you're in Mansfield, Ohio, and you hear someone talking about the Ohio State Reformatory, just know it's not only a movie set, but also a haunted house party waiting to happen. Talk about a claptrap of spookiness.
Hold tight for the next one.
Alright, gather round folks, because Uncle Joe's got a wild tale about his brother and a haunted house in Georgia. Yeah, the Peach State turned into the peaky scary state for these folks. So, Joe bounces from sunny California to Georgia, right? And of course, his brother, being the whippersnapper he is, decides to follow suit and snag an ancient 1800s house. You know, the kind that looks good on the outside, but feels like a ghost is giving you side-eye on the inside. Joe's spidey senses start tingling the moment he steps foot in that creaky joint. He's like, oh man, this place is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Hair on the back of his neck doing the wave, stomach doing somersaults, classic horror movie vibes. But hold on, it gets better. While lugging stuff into the bedroom, Joe hears some fancy ghostly debate going on up near the ceiling, whispering like they're plotting the next spectral poker night or something. Joe, being the brave soul he is, hauls it out of there faster than you can say boo. He checks with his brother like, dude, you feel the weirdness too, right? Brother's all, yeah, it's a bit off, but we'll survive. As long as you're good, I'm good. Spoiler alert, Uncle Joe ain't good. He's feeling the get me out of here vibes. He even tells his brother, I'm going home, and I'll probably never come back here. Wise move, my man. Fast forward, and guess what? Brother starts living in his own horror movie. Niece goes for a solo stroll on a busy road, hand up like she's hailing a ghostly taxi. Cops get involved, investigation mode on. And get this, the little nugget spills the beans about her stroll with the old lady that lives here. Opened the heavy door herself, petted the dog the whole ghostly tour experience. Joe's like, she's so honest, can't call her a liar at 4 years old. In the end, brother packs up, moves faster than a ghost on rollerblades, and never looks back. Georgia's loss, I guess. But hey, lesson learned, if a house gives you the creeps, listen to Uncle Joe and make like a banana split.
Hold tight for the next one.
Alright, buckle up for this wild tale about the Stanley Hotel, a posh joint in Colorado that went from fancy mountain retreat to a spooky blockbuster inspiration. So, this place has been standing tall for over a century, meant for rich folks wanting to escape into the mountains. But as time rolled on, it hit a bit of a rough patch. By the 70s, it was on the struggle bus until the man, the myth, the horror legend Stephen King rolled in for a night. You know, just your casual evening that led to him penning The Shining. No big deal. Thanks to that book and the movie, the Stanley Hotel bounced back. Now it's a hot spot for folks wanting to soak in the eerie vibes that fueled one of the spookiest movies ever made. Enter our hero, Henry Yao from Texas. He hears the ghostly rumors, thinks, why not check it out, and heads there in 2016 for a last-minute vacay. After a chill dinner, he strolls around, clicks some pick standard tourist stuff. But here's where it gets good. He takes a pick at the staircase, waits for the crowd to disperse, and snaps away, thinking it's just a casual shot. Fast forward to that night, and boom, collywobbles hit him like a freight train. He's shivering, feeling like he's got a ghostly flu or something. His buddy suggests the ER, but Yao's all, nah, I'll tough it out. On the way home, he's scrolling through his pics, and there it is, a pic of someone on the stairs. Only problem, no one was there when he took the shot. Cue the spooky music. Next day, he throws the pic on Instagram, half joking about capturing a ghost, and bam, he's suddenly the Ghostbuster of the internet. Media outlets and paranormal experts are knocking on his digital door, analyzing his pic like it's the next Da Vinci. Experts have theories to ghosts, ghost energy stealing, you name it. And what's Yao's take? No idea, he says with a laugh. Classic ghostly mystery, wrapped in a collywobble-infused enigma.
Hold tight for the next one.
So, picture this. Jeff, our hero from Dayton, Ohio, is cruising around town with his 3-year-old son, Miles, riding shotgun in the back seat. They're having a grand old time, probably singing some Antics or the Wheels on the Bus, toddler anthems. Now, here comes the twist in our tale. They roll past this quaint little cemetery that's more flowers and tiny plaques than spooky vibes. Jeff, being the chill dad, casually mentions on Monsters Among Us that the cemetery looks like a giant garden. Nice touch, right? Suddenly, the toddler's serenade comes to a screeching halt. Miles, the tiny human with a knack for dramatic pauses, points at the cemetery and shouts, "Look at all those people." Jeff, playing detective, cranes his neck but sees nada. He's like, "Codswallop, what people?" Now, here's where it gets juicy. Jeff, bewildered, interrogates the toddler genius. Miles, with the wisdom of a sage, drops the bomb. All those people over there, there sure are a lot of grandmas. Hold up, grandmas. In a cemetery? What's the family reunion like there? Jeff, feeling a chill, not just from the air conditioning, asks the crucial question, what are these grandmas up to, kiddo? Brace yourself. Miles, with the gravitas of a toddler Shakespeare, says, they're all standing there, looking down at the grass. Cue spooky music. Now, at this point, Jeff is all shades of unsettled. He slams the gas pedal, making a swift exit from Grandma Central. Fast forward to later that day, Miles is chilling, watching some cartoons. Out of the blue, he turns to Jeff and drops a bombshell. You know, they weren't alive. Jeff, probably questioning his life choices at this point, tries to decode this cryptic message. Alive? What do you mean, buddy? He asks. Miles, with the nonchalance only a kid could muster, drops the mic. Those people we saw, they were all paused. Jeff, in disbelief, wonders if his kids got a sixth sense or just a wild imagination. Either way, I'd say that Cemetery Drive was anything but a leisurely Sunday cruise. Codswallop indeed.
Hold tight for the next one.
All right, buckle up for a slice of history served with a side of spooky. So, back in 1892, this couple, Andrew and Abby Borden, were discovered axed to bits in their home in Fall River, Massachusetts. Now, murders weren't exactly a rarity back then, but what made this case stand out was that their own daughter, Lizzie Borden, was the prime suspect. And get this, she allegedly bludgeoned them with an axe. Fast forward to today, and their house has turned into a B&B and museum. People flock there, hoping to catch a glimpse of some ghostly action. You know, the usual hauntings, laughter in the dead of night, furniture playing musical chairs, and toys deciding to throw a party when no one's around. Suzanne St. John, a realtor and tour guide at the Lizzie Borden house, spilled the beans. She started off just caring about the history, not the paranormal mumbo-jumbo. But guess what? Things got real spooky real quick. Guests claim they hear giggles and games after hours, and objects move around like they've got a mind of their own. Suzanne herself stumbled upon a room with toys scattered around, as if they were having a toy rebellion. Then there's the picture that decided to do the cha-cha across the floor for no apparent reason, and a closet door playing hide and seek without an invitation. And here's the real kicker on the anniversary of the murders. Suzanne and her crew felt a sharp pain in their left eyes, the exact same spot where Andrew Borden met his unfortunate end. Talk about eerie coincidences. But wait, there's more. One time, a tour guide asked everyone to silence their cell phones. Classic move, right? But then a guest's phone rings, and when asked, she goes, "Oh, it's just my mom." The tour guide, trying to be considerate, suggests she takes the call. The lady's response, "Can't, she kicked the bucket 2 years ago." Gastromancy, my friend, is when the spirits communicate through laughter, and it seems like the Borden house is hosting a ghostly comedy club.
Hold tight for the next one.
Tickle Brainy Tales, Salem's ghostly choir director and Alicia Diaz's spooky symphony. So let me tickle brain you with this quirky story about Alicia Diaz, the ultimate multitasker teacher, tour guide, and boss lady of Salem Kids Tours. Now, usually, Alicia's all about the riveting tales of Salem's history, but there's this one ghostly gig that gets her cracking up. Picture this. First church in Salem, the go-to haunt for a friendly ghost who's apparently a diva with kids. Only the pint-sized bunch, around 4 or 5 years old, can spot her. They'll toddle up to Alicia, wide-eyed, and spill the ghostly beans about a lady in a long dress, long sleeves, belting out tunes with the choir. Alicia's been hearing about this spectral serenader since the groovy 60s. Now you'd think she'd chuckle it off, but nope, her own son threw a curvy ball. He once pointed to the choir loft, giving the lowdown on the lady who jams with the choir. Cue Alicia's chill moment. "Oh, absolutely chilled," she says. Apparently, the main sanctuary at First Church has this vibe, a bit like feeling the presence of the past. Not the creepy, hair-raising kind, though. It's more like a cozy history hug, or an energy that's as comforting as Grandma's apple pie. So, next time you're in Salem, keep an eye out for the ghostly choir director. Who knows, maybe she'll toss in a few spectral dance moves for good measure.
Hold tight for the next one.
Oh, brace yourself for the bonkers saga of the Willoughby Coal Building in Ohio, a place that's seen more drama than a soap opera. So, back in the late 1800s, this joint was like a business chameleon, hosting everything from a train depot to a cheese factory. Yep, it had more costume changes than Lady Gaga at an award show. In 1912, it hit the big time as the Willoughby Coal, supplying locals with the good old black gold. Fast forward to the 1930s, it lands in the laps of Henry Windus and William Don Norris. Now these two were like a sitcom waiting to happen. Imagine Coal Chronicles, the Odd Couple edition. Apparently, Henry wanted to buy out Don's share, but Don was playing hardball. It's like the 1800s version of a business bromance gone sour. One fateful day, Don tells his wife he's off for bread and some building checkup. Spoiler alert, the guy vanishes into thin air. Hours later, bam, his lifeless form graces the doorstep in a blood-stained welcome. Officially, they called it an accident, but Teresa Argy, our paranormal investigator extraordinaire, says Don's family thought it was murder. And here's where it gets wild. They reckon his spirit is still giving the coal building some serious side-eye. Teresa spills the beans about run-ins with Don's ghost, claiming he's become a bit of a permanent resident like the spirit landlord of the joint. Faces in the window, mysterious footsteps, it's like a supernatural sitcom with Don as the lead and a supporting cast of 5 or 6 other ghostly roomies. So if you're ever in Willoughby, keep an eye out for the coal building. You might just catch Don making a spectral sandwich run or overseeing some spooky repairs.
Hold tight for the next one.
Oh man, you won't believe the tale of Marty and the haunted ventriloquist doll. So, back in the 90s, Marty's dad stumbles upon this ventriloquist doll in a creepy magic shop outside Santa Rosa. Classic dad move, right? He buys it for Marty's birthday, thinking it's all fun and games. Now, the cashier gives him these weird vibes and drops a bomb like, when you put your hand inside the doll, he's gonna come alive. Dad probably thought it was a joke and laughed it off. Fast forward to Marty being over the moon, obsessed with her new dummy, thinking life's all rainbows and unicorns. But, plot twist. Weird stuff starts happening. The doll, with its supposedly rock-hard plastic head, starts changing expressions. Like really, who knew dolls took improv classes? Marty's family freaks out and starts locking the thing up every night. Then they wake up to tiny footsteps, thinking it's the dog or a sneaky family member, but nope, it's just the doll chilling on the couch. Even Marty's uncle gets in on the action. He hears Marty's dad calling him from the living room when no one's home. Surprise, surprise, it's the doll pulling another couch-sitting stunt. The family, scared out of their wits, decides it's time to kick the doll out. Marty's Mexican and religious parents are like, let's burn this sucker in case it's demonic. But hold on, this doll is practically fireproof. They grill it, try the knife trick, toss it in the trash, and what do they find? The doll chilling in the garbage bin like it's a cozy Airbnb. Finally, they're like, enough is enough, and bury it in the backyard, surrounded by a fortress of cement. Marty and the gang move away, but they're haunted by the thought that this doll might just show up on their doorstep one day, ready to party. Lesson learned. Be careful when buying ventriloquist dolls, folks. You might end up with a stubborn, fire-resistant, couch-loving nightmare on your hands.
Hold tight for the next one.
Ghostly Grandpa's Bedtime Stories, Jacqueline's Hilarious Haunting with Pa Hank, The Prohibition Ghost Pal. All right, buckle up for this spooky yet hilarious tale from Jacqueline in Oklahoma. So, Picture this, little Jacqueline running around with an imaginary friend, right? But hold on to your hat, because this ain't your usual make-believe buddy. So, Jacqueline's grandparents, the legends Granny Junie and Pa Hank, lived in this quaint house with a chill backyard. Now, Jacqueline swears by the podcast monsters among us and spills the beans about her childhood shenanigans. Apparently, Pa Hank, the granddaddy of cool stories, would sit under a tree spinning tales about his wild prohibition days. Like, imagine a ghost grandpa with a history lesson. Jacqueline is all nostalgic, saying he was actually a very interesting character. No kidding, imaginary friends of class in Oklahoma. But here's the kicker. Pa Hank took his skedaddle from this world in 1981, and Jacqueline made her grand entrance in 1982. Time travel. Anyone. She didn't even realize she was getting ghost stories until way later. Cue the plot twist. And get this, Granny Junie, the old ghost spotter, wouldn't stay home on the anniversary of Pa Hank's death. Like, no way, she's out of there. Ghost parties, much. Jacqueline's reminiscing about Pa Hank getting up in the middle of the night. Ghostly midnight snacks, perhaps. She admits, it never occurred to me that these were memories of an entity. Classic case of ghostly obliviousness. Now, looking back, Jacqueline realizes her childhood imaginary friend was none other than her ghostly grandpa. But you know what? It wasn't all eerie and hair-raising. Nah, it felt more like shooting the breeze with Pa Hank. So, there you have it. Jacqueline's childhood filled with spectral storytelling and midnight skedaddles. Well, new ghostly relatives could be the best imaginary friends. It's like Casper, but with a family twist.
Thanks for joining us on this eerie adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, don't forget to subscribe. More mysteries await. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay curious.